There are games that scare you, there are games that surprise you. And then there are those special ones where you sit there late at night, staring at the screen and thinking, why am I playing this right now? I'm definitely not sleeping tomorrow. Today's list is all about zombie games, infected creatures, and anything that crawls out of the dark looking like it needs therapy, but not the usual classics. Let me warn you right away, there are no perfect games here. Every one of them has something strong, something strange, and something that feels like the developers had a little too much coffee. But that's exactly what makes this list fun. We'll start from the weaker titles that still deserve a look, and slowly climb toward the game that blew the industry apart with its visuals, atmosphere, and storytelling. You ready? Buckle up. Things are about to get dark, creepy, and occasionally funny. Quantum Error is one of those games that wants to scare you, but sometimes ends up scaring you for the wrong reasons. The story is simple. You play as a firefighter sent to a mysterious facility where things have gone horribly wrong. On paper, that sounds great, rescuing people, fighting infected creatures, lots of sci-fi weirdness. But here's the issue, the game often feels like an unfinished puzzle. The graphics try their best, but the character models and animations sometimes look like they were borrowed from a PS3 project trying to pass as next-gen. The atmosphere works for a moment and then suddenly disappears, leaving you alone in a hallway that feels emptier than a quiet office on Sunday. The game definitely tries to be clever, sometimes a little too hard. The enemies don't always look threatening. They mostly look like very tired people who need a long vacation. One thing I genuinely liked is the idea, mixing firefighters, horror, sci-fi, and survival. It's unique, but the execution a bit rough around the edges. The sound design ranges from pretty good to did they record this in someone's bathroom? There are some moments that are actually interesting, but there just aren't enough of them. Quantum Error is a game that could have been much better if the developers had another year of polishing. In short, it's a game for a very specific audience. But compared to the others in today's ranking, it is the weakest one, and you'll understand why as we go further. Back 4 Blood is the kind of game you launch not for deep storytelling, but for pure chaotic fun. The world is infected, zombies everywhere, and a group of survivors trying to stay alive. It's all presented through loud gunfire, constant screams, explosions, and mutant creatures that seem upset at literally everything. The graphics are good, clean, modern, colorful, but nothing mind-blowing. But honestly, the game is fun. There were moments where I legitimately laughed out loud, especially when huge hordes suddenly sprint toward you and your friend is yelling, "Close the door." This isn't horror, it's an action carnival. The positives: huge hordes, great co-op, energetic shooting, lots of weapons and customization. The negatives: repetition, chaos, lack of atmosphere in some areas. But it's not a bad game at all, it just doesn't pretend to be something deep. It's the kind of game you play in the evening to clear your mind and blow up some infected without thinking too hard. Back 4 Blood is a loud, silly, entertaining apocalypse shooter. And yes, 5th place is exactly where it belongs, because the next games are in a whole different league. The Callisto Protocol is a game that looks like a premium steak, but sometimes tastes a bit undercooked. You're trapped in a prison on one of Jupiter's moons, a virus spreads, and the inmates mutate into monstrous creatures. The graphics are absolutely insane. Character faces are so detailed you can see every pore and wrinkle. Lighting, shadows, fog, everything is thick, cinematic, and beautiful. The monster designs are properly disgusting, in the best possible way. Combat feels heavy, but also repetitive. The pacing is odd at times. The story pushes forward, but doesn't always grip the way it should. It's not a bad game, it's just unbalanced. You can clearly see that 90% of the effort went into visuals and 10% into everything else. But visually, it's one of the prettiest sci-fi horror games ever made. The atmosphere works, the tension works, the environments look amazing. But the gameplay can leave you wanting more. In short, the game is stunning, but the mechanics don't match the visuals. Still, for its look and mood, it absolutely deserves the 4th spot. The story hints at a world where technology is no longer the only danger, and bizarre, infected, almost mythical creatures roam the land. You play someone searching for their past, while the world around them collapses at a disturbing speed. The graphics look amazing, Unreal Engine 5 flexing its muscles with volumetric light, rich shadows, and beautiful environments. The atmosphere mixes mystery, melancholy, and horror in a very interesting way. I love how the locations feel real, but also slightly supernatural, like the world is alive and watching you. The monsters aren't scary because they're big, they're scary because their design feels unnervingly unfamiliar. This isn't zombies for the sake of zombies. This is something deeper and more artistic. The blend of horror and visual storytelling is impressive. I believe it could become one of the strongest horror action experiences in years, so 3rd place is absolutely fair. Resident Evil Village mixes horror, action, and eerie fairy tale darkness better than almost any other game. The story continues Ethan's journey as he tries to save his daughter and ends up in a village filled with very unusual creatures. No, these aren't classic zombies. But the infected, mutants, werewolves, and other surprises create a powerful sense of danger. The graphics are gorgeous, the castle, the village, the factory, each location feels like a separate movie set. The tone constantly shifts between fear, curiosity, and a little absurdity, and somehow it works perfectly. I love how the game never lets you relax. Each area feels fresh and unique. The environments are crafted with real passion and attention to detail. But overall, it's a beautifully built experience. The sound design, music, creature work, everything elevates the game. The story is engaging, the characters memorable, and most importantly, the game feels polished and complete. The 2nd place is well deserved. Alan Wake 2 is a game that doesn't just follow the horror genre, it bends the genre into something entirely new. The story follows a writer trapped between reality and darkness, trying to rewrite his fate and escape the nightmare he created. It sounds weird, and it absolutely is, but in a fantastic way. The graphics are unreal, hyper-detailed characters, wet reflective streets, neon-soaked night scenes, and lighting that feels alive. Every frame looks like a piece of concept art. The atmosphere is so thick and haunting that I actually caught myself holding my breath during certain scenes. But there are moments of humor that balance the intensity and keep the game grounded. The storytelling is smart, layered, and makes you think, sometimes a bit too much. The pacing can be slow, and the plot can twist your brain like a pretzel. But the artistic quality, the style, the emotional depth, all of it is absolutely top tier. Alan Wake 2 isn't just a game, it's an experience. This is why it takes the #1 spot without any argument. And that's our journey through 6 games about zombies, mutants, and infected creatures. Each one shows a different side of a world that's falling apart, where people are left alone with darkness and everything hiding inside it. Tell me in the comments which one you liked the most. And if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to my channel to see more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.